Hello Watford fans, Josh here, hope you're all well. Today I'm going to bring you the Leicester City side of things, heading into the first game back of the season behind closed doors between Watford and Leicester down at Enquiries Road. I'm a Leicester content creator, so if you can go and check my channel out, SPORTSA, that would be much appreciated. But the football is back, the Premier League is back, of course. Next week as Watford take on Leicester in our first game on Saturday down at Enquiries Road. Today I'm going to bring you Watford fans the Leicester side of things heading into the game, update you guys on how Leicester are looking ahead of the first game of the season, of course, behind closed doors. So without further ado, I'm going to get straight into my side of the preview. So my first topic is Leicester City injury news. So the only real player with an injury at the Foxes right now is our fullback Ricardo Pereira. He got an injury on our final game of the season before lockdown shook against Aston Villa, where he picked up an ACL injury. So it's looking highly unlikely that he'll even feature for the remainder of this season behind closed doors. Obviously, Ricardo Pereira is probably one of the best right backs in the league, in my opinion. Obviously, he's very good defensively. He offers a big threat going forward as well. So it is a big bonus for you guys going into the game with no Ricardo Pereira in the Leicester side. The man to replace him is former Luton Town man James Justin. He's played a few times this season and done fairly well, so I'm pretty confident that James Justin can come in and do a very good job. But obviously, he's a bit inexperienced. Only 2 games played so far this season in the Premier League, so especially with the likes of Sarr and Delafeu in your side, it could be an area to exploit on Saturday. Obviously, James Justin, a youngster, but I'm fairly confident as a Leicester fan that he'll come straight into the back four and slot in perfectly. But obviously, just like I said, with your wingers, it's a big bonus for you guys. But the only other injury concern is our winger, Ayoze Perez. He's been struggling with a muscle injury in the last few weeks, but I'm fairly confident that he will end up to play. If he doesn't, the man to replace him would be Mark Albrighton, so it's still a very strong replacement. But the only real injury concern is Ricardo Pereira. So moving straight on to my opinions on Watford this season. In my opinion, it's been a very poor season for you guys, obviously flirting with relegation. But obviously, last few seasons, especially last season, you were very good. I think you finished around 10th to 11th, but at some point, you were challenging for a Europa League spot with Wolverhampton Wanderers, I do believe. But obviously, you've gone through way too many managers this season, in my opinion. I think if you had Nigel Pearson from the start, you probably would be around that same position, maybe fighting for a Europa League spot, potentially around 10th to 11th, that sort of area. But I'm fully confident that you guys will stay up. Obviously, it's been a weird season for you guys. Obviously, going through 3 managers onto your third now in former Leicester man Nigel Pearson. So it hasn't been the best of seasons, but I'm confident that you guys will stay up. I think you'll get a few wins behind closed doors, and I think you should be alright for another season in the Premier League next campaign. So moving on to the effects of playing behind closed doors. Obviously, it's a big thing in football right now. At least football is back, but of course, it is going to be heavily impacted with no fans in the stadium. Obviously, with some teams, it could positively affect them, and some, obviously, it will negatively affect them. Teams like Manchester City, Arsenal, Manchester United, I think it could do them good, especially with teams like Manchester City, who basically play a training match with the way they play the game, with the possession style. But for teams like Leicester and Watford, I think it could negatively affect them. Obviously, no fans in the stadium. Leicester and Watford playing in pretty small stadiums compared to the other stadiums in the league. So I think it will be different. Obviously, it's going to be different for every team, and it will be quite difficult. But I can see the games potentially being just a bit more boring, maybe a few more 0-0s in there. But you can never judge anything in the Premier League. Obviously, it's a very unpredictable league, so anything can still happen. But the only real effect of it, I think the games may be a bit slower, a bit more boring here and there, but I still think the games will. I think they'll be decent. As we've seen in the Bundesliga, some of the games are very hit and miss, but some of them are very high scoring, so it's very difficult to judge with the games being played behind closed doors. So moving straight back onto the game with my score prediction, I'm going to go with a Watford 0, Leicester City 1. Our form just before lockdown struck was very poor, only 5 points from 5 games, and for a team who's challenging for a European spot in the Champions League, it's just not good enough. I think it'll be a very close game. I think Leicester will just manage to nick it in the end. I think Watford, I think it will be a very close game down at Enquiries Road. I think there'll be limited chances. Obviously, with no fans in the stadium, I think the game will be affected by that. I think Leicester will play the usual possession style. Watford will, I think you'll look to counter-attack on us. I think the game will be slightly boring, but I think Leicester will just manage to break through towards the end. I'm going to go with Jamie Vardy to get the goal in and around the 70th minute mark, but it should be a good game down at Enquiries Road. It's going to be interesting to see what happened. I think this break has done Leicester the world of good. I think if we played this game and there was no break, I think you guys would have had a very good chance to win. And of course, I think you've beaten teams like Liverpool most recently, so anything can happen. But that is it from my side of the match preview. A big thanks for having me on the channel today, The Watford Way. Go and subscribe if you haven't already. But I would say good luck for the game. But, you know, I want Leicester to win. Hopefully Leicester can secure Champions League. But yeah, good luck for the rest of the season. And yeah, thanks for having me on the channel today.